what you're thinking. I take it jumbo loans are happening.
Yeah,
same
they
as
are.
everything
And,
else.
it's interesting because, like all loans right now, it's hard to give a rate because they've done a lot of risk analysis on rates. So it depends a lot on credit scores and debt-to-income ratios and loan-to-values and things like that. So it's hard to be generic. But we deal with private banking sources, and their rates are generally really good. But people have to be fairly well qualified. We also deal with banks, and their rates aren't quite as good, but people don't have to have as many reserves, and the credit score doesn't have to be quite as high. But the rates, I would say, are right now for a 30-year fixed are ranging between 5.25% and 5.75% on a jumbo loan.
Okay. And, now going to the opposite end of the spectrum, sometimes, what about the owner-occupant person trying to get into the market right now because there's some great buys and they've got a relatively good job and they've saved a little money, maybe not a lot? What are you able to do right now for that person?
Well, we can do as low as 3.5% down with FHA. The 5% down conventional is preferable. Those do have significant debt-to-income qualifications, but, we can, that's part of the sitting down process is looking at all options and seeing what's most important to the buyer. 20% down is always the best option. 25% down actually gets you a little better rate. But I would say the rates are in the high 4s right now.
You're kind of across the board for the person just stepping in.
Well, the new person, like the FHA loans are more in the mid-5s. The low down payment loans are right under that. But if somebody's putting a down payment down and has good credit, then we're looking in the high 4s at the moment.
With the FHA, when you said the 3.5%, that means down,
3.5% down. Yeah, 3.5% down.
Oh, okay. I kind of was
Sorry,
off there a little bit.
Probably misspoke.
No, I know. I think I just translated it a little different.
Yeah, and rates change every day, of course. So but I don't think the rates are as much of a problem with the person getting in. It tends to be more developing a plan for them to get in. And if they can't get in today, they maybe can in 6 months. And that's good for them to know. I found that people respond really well with goals.
I think you're right. Ironically, we all do. When we realize what direction we're going and what we want to do and we write it down, written goals, especially a written goal that came to you from Premier Mortgage, let's say, would certainly move you in a great direction.
Yeah, and I actually go through people's budgets because it's amazing how much we all spend, even now, and I think we've all cut back, but we still waste a lot of money. So if we translate that wasted money into house payment, people are generally willing to do that if they really want to buy. And, it comes down to choice. Do I really want to buy a home or not?
I think that's a great one. I think for any of us, budget is really an interesting topic. And what you just said, I think, hits everybody no matter how much money you're making or what you're doing, the amount of money that we're all wasting.
Yeah.
And we're losing sight of it. We're not even paying attention.
Yeah.
The coffee, what we're all spending on coffee, pastries, whatever it is that we're doing, if you take that over a month, we're all spending money that for a lot of people could go in, like you're saying, to their mortgage payment instead of just out the door.
Yeah, and I really encourage people not to buy new cars until they've bought a home.
Oh, yeah, we've all seen the person that signs up, they've got the house, it's under contract, everything is great, and then they go buy a car. So all of a sudden they've totally changed their credit score. They bought a car because they saw they could get this fabulous car with no down payment, and now they've totally blown their chances of getting a mortgage loan. So again, that's a huge thing. Don't go make any huge purchases when you've just talked to Premier Mortgage and we're trying to find a house for you. Remember, you can't do that.
Yeah, and even if you're thinking you might buy someday, hold off on the car.
Yes.
There's plenty of good Maui cruisers around to hold, you just hold off on the new car until, and other reasonably big expenses until you have the home, because that's the biggest thing to get into. And once you have that, then you have that handled, and then you can work on lifestyle stuff.
From our standpoint, I don't think we're ever going to see a better time to be buying real estate on Maui. And it's happening. We have seen so much happening that we're almost blown away by it. This weekend, we were all showing property as fast as we could. And I'm sure there's things that we couldn't quite get to.
Yeah.
We had people from out of the country that showed up that we didn't even know were here that are really looking at some huge properties. We had somebody running around with first-time home buyers, but I'm kind of stunned. Pineapple Hill at Kapalua, there had to have been 14 to 18 houses for sale, and right now I believe there's 6.
Yeah.
So we're seeing some amazing sales happening, and in Maui, it's always turned around before we know what happens. I'm sure everywhere in the world that happens.
Well, we have such a small amount of inventory here that we think it's a lot, but then, you get some buyers coming in, and all of a sudden we don't have any inventory, and the prices start going up, and everybody says, what happened?
That's right. And then you start getting afraid to buy because the prices are going up.
Yeah.
So, back to a quick FHA question again. The FHA loans, there's a top to the loan. You can only do a loan up to a certain amount.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
I think it's $729, but I'd need to check it.
Is it the same or about the same for a VA loan?
I think it's about the same.
Mm-hmm. So
but I have people in my office that focus on that, so I don't.
That's okay.
I do mostly, the second home resort and the creative thinking for first-time home buyers. Those are my specialties. Yeah,
I'm kind of more in a different market, but we do at our office. Everybody thinks that we don't do residential or we don't do the smaller properties, and that really isn't true. We are really more than happy in our office to work with the first-time home buyers. We've got, kind of like you're saying, we have a couple of agents that almost specialize in it, and they really do a great job because they stay tuned into what it's going to take right now, to buy a home in a certain price range up to a certain figure. And I think they're the people, like Casey, I know, has talked to you a lot.
Yeah.
So I think that's in every office we're finding that. But we at Sakamoto Properties are more than happy. Again, 669-0070 and sakamotoproperties.com. And take a look at our website. And, if there's anything you can't find on there or you think you should be able to find, call me. It's Betty Sakamoto, and I'm going to try to figure it out. We've had someone at Meyer Computing that's working really closely with us to get our website as updated as we can. And if you're not finding something, let me know. And Tricia, could you, for our listeners, give them your phone numbers, the easiest place to reach you, and your website?
Sure. It's 874-8800, and my extension is 116, or you can always press 0 and have someone paged. My cell number is 283-7811, and the website is mortgagemaui.com.
So I think now you've got some ways to reach us. And is there anything else, Tricia, that you can think of that you'd like to mention
to our listeners? Well, I just wanted to say, I think one thing that Sakamoto Properties and Premier Mortgage has always shared is a commitment to the community. And whether it's, donating to causes or just supporting the local people to buy and, support them in their lives.